Good morning, guys. So, this morning I'm going to do something just a little bit new. Confession is good for the soul. Sometimes it takes me just a second minute to catch up with you guys, but man, when I catch up, I am like right there with you. So, something that Teresa said to me made me realize that the sketches that I have been providing have not really done anything to help those that are intimidated by the drawing process. So, starting this week, I have started making, I have a journaling Bible, and I measured out this margin, and I'm going to start doing the weekly doodles according to that margin. And it just so happens that that margin will fit our Passion Translation. I know there are some of you that don't like to go over the words. So I feel like doing this incorporates if you want to do the whole page and you've got like a Bible from Goodwill and you're okay with me like just doing the whole page, or if you're working in a journal Bible and you're really just not comfortable doing that, this will provide you with what you need. So, and if you don't want to doodle, well, if you don't want to try to doodle it out, then what do? You're kind of just stuck. So thank you, Teresa, for getting me to see the light and see how I can help in that. So starting this week, these will be available on the website, praiseheart.net. Go to the tab for Psalms Study. And this size drawing will be available under the Psalm doodle sketch. It will be under. So here what I'm going to show you is, so how do you get this onto here? Because if you start gluing these onto your pages, your binding is going to break. This is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and your binding is going to break because it's not going to be able to take that. So I'm going to show you today how to transfer. So you can use transfer paper that, dating myself, that we used to use way back in the day when you would put it in between like two typing sheets and you were able to duplicate something. So that's now called graphite paper, and it's very fancy. But it's that same premise where you put your graphite paper down and just do a test on it to see which side has the graphite on it. So just do a test and make sure you're getting a mark. So I would just, if this was graphite paper, I would put this down where I want it, put down my image, and then trace on top of it. And then when you pick it up, your image is left behind. Graphite paper tends to just be a little bit harder to erase. So I don't know if you're like me, but I always think, did I do that? Did I not do that? Did I shift it? Did I move it? Yeah, so that's my world too. So I'm going to show you, I think like everybody has pencils. It works best if you go, this is an F. You do not want an F pencil. So this is a 7B. I have links for everything on the website. So, but what you want is a heavily dark black graphite pencil. A 6B, a 7B, an 8B are just fabulous. So that's what you want. And this is just an embossing tool. And can you see that it's got like a bigger ball there, and then it's got a finer one. So I usually use this side if I'm going to do this. So you can use a pencil to trace on top of your image for either the graphite paper or for this method, but the pencil tends to break into the graphite paper. It's so fragile that if you're going in with a sharp point, because this dull point wouldn't leave a clear, crisp image. If you're going in with a sharp point on top of the image, let's say that I'm coming in, I've got my graphite paper, I've got my little guy, and I've got a nice sharp pencil, and I'm coming in on top of here. It tends to, we tend to press harder than we need to, and then we tear the graphite paper and our model. So the stylus just solves all of those problems for us. So, okay, so I have, this is what we're going to get to, right? So I'm also using this. This is from Illustrated Faith, and it's just a harder piece of plastic. And I so tried to find something else. I just grabbed what was close to me to do the video with. Listen, you do not have to buy this. This is just a flimsy piece of plastic. It's not worth the money that it costs. I have used just the back of a sketchbook. If you just kind of use the back of a sketchbook, that's thicker than, you know, you could just come in and do it. Because basically what you want is you just want a hard surface to trace on. So really just use what you've got. You don't have to go buy things, just use what you've got and it's all going to be good. Okay, so here I've got, you go onto the website and you go onto the Psalm study and you go onto the doodle sketch for Psalm 28, and you can just hit Control P on your computer and that should bring up the printing option, and you should be able to just print this out onto from your computer. So I'm now just going to take my ruler and just get it down to a size that I can use in my Bible. So I don't ever really use scissors anymore. I just kind of do it this way because it's so much easier than trying to figure out what's straight and what's not straight and all that kind of jizzity jazzy. Okay, so I have that. So now I've got this. I'm up to where I am. So this is what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is take my 7B pencil. It does not work very well if you just get like a regular old HB pencil, or, you know, like a yellow Ticonderoga that is, you know, for school testing. It's not going to lay down enough graphite, because you see how once you emboss over it, you get the image. So the idea is that you put your graphite on the back, you turn it over, and then you use your stylus and you push it down so that this is serving as your graphite paper. The nice thing about doing it this way is that that graphite paper is not moving and shifting around underneath you. It's all just contained on this one piece of paper. And this is ultimately, at the end of the day, just pencil. It's not as hard to erase. So here I did this. This is the transferred image here. So let me just show you how that erases. You can just get it gone because it's just a pencil. So I don't know, this I think is an easier way to do it, because I think everybody kind of has pencils on hand. I just don't know if you have 6Bs or 8B pencils on hand, but you can buy them singularly at AC Moore. I don't know if Hobby Lobby sells them singularly, or Michael's, but I know AC Moore sells. You can buy a Faber-Castell 6B or 8B, just one pencil, and it'll last you a good bit of a while. Okay, Lisa, stop talking. I'm sorry, I'm gonna. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. I'm going to, this is my new one. So I'm gonna take this I want. So here, I'm going to, can you see, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna lay. So you see how here I'm laying it in, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and do it the other way. So what I really want to do is lay in enough graphite that when I push on it with that embossing tool, it will come down. So you don't have to be real insane about it, but just enough so that there's not, so I've gone this way, and now I'm going on a diagonal to just get. Okay, so I've got that, and then I've got, it's a little bit hard to see where my words are, but we'll make it through. I can see better now. Okay. Can anybody out there do the Jeopardy music for me? I don't even remember how the Jeopardy music goes. I know this is longer than the ones I usually do. So once I start painting again, then I'm just, you know, we're good to speed up and go on. But I thought maybe this would help. 28 Psalms in, Lisa finally catches a clue. You gotta love me. You got to, because God says so. So I'm sorry for anybody that was frustrated that they felt like they were not able to do what we were doing. I don't know, just I hope that this is a blessing and it helps everybody kind of do and join in on the study and not feel like they can't. So I also want to say, you know, I do watercolors a lot. just because that's my comfort zone and I can knock them out quickly. Doing these videos is a commitment to get this done every week. So for me, that's just a place where I can honor the Lord and I can kind of just get them done, but in a good way, you know. You do not have to use watercolors. You do not have to use absolutely anything that I use. Please use colored pencils, use twistables. Gosh, use everything and anything that you've got on hand. It does not matter a hill of beans how you get it done. It just matters that you're having that conversation with the Lord. Okay, so remember that I do prep my pages with clear gesso first, and then I'm using the Absorbent Ground by Golden. So far, that's the cheapest that I have found. If I find cheaper, I will let you guys know. Recently, I have a Cheap Joe's by me, and this is a really good clear gesso too. It just goes on very smoothly, and it's not expensive. This tube was $6.49, and they always have deals. So if you have one close to you, it's great. If you have to pay shipping, you will lose the bargain aspect of it. Okay, so I'm gonna have my little umbrella about over here. I've got a nice surface here to go on. So I'm going to start tracing. Can you guys see? Alrighty. You kind of have to keep track with what you traced. Now, see, if I had graphite paper, I don't know. I am just, oh my gosh, did you guys have to take typing in high school? Like, is that not hysterical? Every good man, there's something, I forgot the sentence. Every good fox, I don't know, that got every letter in. Just so you know, I was always cheating and looking at my hands while I was typing. But this transfer paper is the way. Then even then, God bless me, I could not get, I was just a wreck with transfer paper. Transfer paper and I do not get along ever. I would always move or do something. And what's nice about this is that if you move, then it moves with, the whole thing moves together. So can't go wrong here. All right, so I'm not going to put in all these little lines because let me just tell you my secret. I just put in lines everywhere, but not under the umbrella because these are strengthen or shield. And then I went back in and I just, like with a black marker, I'm just going to go in and put like little squares and circles down there. So it looks kind of like a jewel. I don't know. That was just my thought when I was creating it. Here I've got that little bit of a tab here, so I don't know if it's going to necessarily show up, but that's all right, we'll see. Now you know that wanted to tear on me because I was going over. Here on this side of it, there's going to be a shadow, so I'm just going to go in and pop in that shadow now while I'm tracing the letters. It actually hurts your hand. It's a crazy thing. Like this hand hurts from holding down the paper so strongly. Probably don't have to do that, but well, there I am. And my shield. So if you keep this piece of paper, you'll see the way I typed it out was that it's got these little dots on it. So when you go back in, you can kind of replicate that. Okay, you ready for the big reveal? I think I did everything. And you never even had to draw anything. I do not know why I keep on here. So the little bit of that, see, that's welcome to me doing, here I've just got to take that down and finish that up. So there you have it. So now I'm going to go back in and do, you know, like I always do. So what I'm going to do next, though, is I'm going to take, oh, my hand hurts from doing that. Lord have mercy. I'm a wimp. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put it in marker so that it is, this is a brush, so that it is, and then I'll erase out the lines. So here I'm just going to kind of come in. And so this is a pit marker, and they will hold up against the watercolors when I come back in with the watercolors. So make sure that like you don't use like a Crayola marker or something like that here, because that will reactivate when you come back in with any kind of water-based medium. I should probably be using a thinner marker, but that's okay, right? So please let me know if this was a help to you guys, if this this way is something that you feel like you can embrace more than the doodling. I know this is very sloppy. You guys gotta love me though. I'm going quick. So there's my advice. Learn from me before you go onto your page. Use a little brush, a little micron pen for this part, not a big old thick brush. And my alrighty. Oh, here I'm going to do this too. Because I went over it so many times, I just feel like there's so many, I just want to have clean lines when I'm going into paint. That's why I'm doing this now. And remember, when you're painting, this inner part, this here, is going to be darker. That's where your shadow is. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, so okay, here we go, and I am starting to lay in a little bit of color, and I don't know why I'm in such a rush to this morning to get this done, but I came in too quick on top of that Faber-Castell Pit pen, and it's murkying up the umbrella a little bit. So I dabbed it up, and I'm going to come back to it once that pen is really dry on that umbrella. And really take your time on the lettering, because my entire time here I'm kind of trying to correct the sloppiness of how I laid my letters in with that big brush. So I don't know, you know, you're preaching to the choir, right? That I just kind of hurried it along, but when you hurry it along, you really do have to struggle with the drawing the whole way around, other than just kind of, you know, having it be relaxing. So I got in my lines with a smaller pen, with a micron pen there that represent the rain, and I'm getting in that gray now around the umbrella, sort of like the fiery darts that come in from the enemy, and the gray that Satan would have us believe that we have to be, you know, that's our onslaught. But that blue sky up there is our promise. The underneath of the umbrella is always going to be darker. That is the shadowed aspect of it. So here I'm laying in a darker purple, but then I'm using just the water to lift it a little bit, so it's just on my lines. Trying to pop in a little bit of white on those lines and a little bit of a highlight on the umbrella there with the colored pencils. Bringing in some more shadowing. Again, you see that I dry often. So here I'm using a micron pen, you can see, and I'm just adding in the squares and the circles on the rain. Just kind of gives a visual element. And I tell you, sometimes it feels, doesn't it, like we're getting rocks hurled at us. But he's our shield and our protector, and he does guard us from that. You know, I put stitches around everything, so I've got little stitches around each little aspect, each little triangle of the umbrella there, and my little white dots and my white ziggity zaggities. That's always got to go in. You know, that's the truth. Um, so here I'm going to come in, and I don't know if I've done this before with you guys, but so I feel like not only does he protect us and he shields us, but we're in his glory. Like we get to inhabit the spaces of his glory. So so that's that. My representation of that is just that it's dripping down from heaven. It still touches us, and then in under that umbrella, that yellow is just the space that I get to inhabit. Um, Protected from everything that the world is throwing at me, but not even just protected, but protected in his glory, protected in his presence, protected with him absolutely surrounding us and inhabiting the atmosphere around us. So just adding some visual elements here with the colored pencil. um, I think ultimately I didn't like all of that color around there, so I will come back later in and kind of erase it out a little bit. It was more than I could take, so it just started to look sloppy and overdone. So I will come back in and kind of erase up some of those blue and red lines. Um, so let's see where I'm going now. I did not like, there was a line under strength that I didn't like, so I just went and reactivated it and blended it out a little bit. Um, so more white lines. So, you know, once you lay in your color and once you lay in that little piece of the umbrella, the cute factor is always introduced for me with the stitching, the ziggity lines, the dots, you know, so I always kind of put those in. I did not know why I was messing with any other pen but my Bic Cristal pen. Like, that is such a workhorse. It will do everything. So there I've got my little hearts that, again, that it's not just that I'm protected, but I am loved and I am in his space and I'm in his glory, and I get to inhabit that space of protection with him. So the red wasn't popping, so I got a red ballpoint pen there and kind of popped that in a little bit. And that's it, guys. That is, he is my strength and my shield. Check it out on praiseheart.net. Go to the Psalms study tab, and all of the information is there for you. Happy Easter. I'm so glad we get to do this together. Bye.